This is ANCAP-SU, and we're going to discuss a column published in the Financial Times, which states that the situation between Brazil and the United States has reached a deadlock and may worsen. And why has it reached a deadlock? According to the Financial Times, Trump made an unrealistic demand because the judiciary is independent, so it cannot ask the Lula government to terminate the process against the so-called coup by Alexandre de Moraes. This is an unrealistic demand from Trump. Regarding the other point, the Financial Times is aware of what's happening here. The open political persecution of Bolsonaro. Evidently, this has nothing to do with law. It's clearly political persecution, lawfare, and that's precisely why Trump knows he needs to apply pressure because there's an exit. This isn't justice, it's politics. What the Brazilian Supreme Court is doing is politics, not justice. And Trump understands because he has experienced it too. Let's examine this column from the Financial Times, as it's an influential newspaper. It's a newspaper that provides this information, and it contains a detailed column about this issue, which isn't optimistic. It's quite pessimistic, stating that the situation is likely to deteriorate. This news was suggested by Sobrevivendo ao Jogo, anarcho-socialista, and several other. Thanks to those who suggested news on our website, Visa Libertarianism, and thanks to you for watching our video. If you like our content, please like and subscribe to our channel. Here's the British Economic Press, the Financial Times. This is the column. Let's go straight to the source to read what's there. The article was written by English writers here in Brazil from the far left with a totally biased view. These individuals are influential and hold this view. They discuss Trump's trade disputes, although it appears to be just another of Trump's trade disputes. The dispute between the United States and Brazil is influenced by the fate of one man, Lula's main political opponent, former President Jair Bolsonaro. Former President Jair Bolsonaro planning a military coup and other allegations. He denies all of this, and they say here that as the court nears a verdict, Trump has already issued his own statement on July 7th saying it was a witch hunt and should be stopped immediately. Trump is right. The mistaken view of these people here is that the Supreme Court is impartial. But see, it's not out of naivety on the part of the Financial Times people. They know this trial is a political trial, a clear case of political persecution. Their problem is that they agree with it. The Supreme Court in England has also acted along these lines. The Supreme Courts in all European countries have been used by the left to push their agenda. Since the left is in disrepute worldwide, nobody wants to vote for left-wing parties anymore. They no longer have popular. They end up resorting to the courts. That's what the left worldwide has been doing. When the Supreme Court denied Trump's request to annul the process against Bolsonaro, he imposed tariffs on Brazil. And then he says that Trump can back down, referring to the demonstrations Brazilians held in support of Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro supporters took to the streets on August 3rd, calling for the removal of Alexandre de Moraes, the judge. In short, what he's saying here is that the situation seems to be worsening because Lula is unable to take action. Of course, Lula can take action. He can request an injunction, he can act, or do whatever he wants. It's clear that Alexandre de Moraes will have to step down one way or another. He's isolated even within the Supreme Court. He'll have to leave anyway, and Trump's applying pressure in the right place because he knows what's going on. This is what they present here as Brazil's problem, while other countries are negotiating tariffs with the United States. They're reaching agreements. China, India, everyone here in Brazil. Lula can't get off to a good start. Why? Because the condition to make progress is to end this persecution. And yes, Lula is connected to this STF. Everyone knows that it wasn't Lula who actually won the 2022 election. It was the PT-STF coalition that won the elections and is governing together, and they're banning Bolsonaro from running in next year's elections precisely because of this. At one point, he states that he didn't plan any coup, that the accusations are ridiculous, but admitted to having discussed alternative scenarios with some military officials after ruling out those plans. In other words, nothing came of it, exactly that. He discussed something, but that's all. And did he plan something? Did he try to do something? Of course not. In other words, The people themselves say that this process against him is foolish, but of course being leftists, they're all excited about Bolsonaro's imprisonment. Right? At one point, he states here that Brazil is relatively in good shape to confront Trump, because exports to the United States are small, there's not much, it's just the usual trade talk. No, because Brazil trades more with China than with the United States. So losing the United States isn't so tragic for Brazil. But I've already explained this to you all, that this situation isn't as simple as it seems. In fact, Brazil sells less to the United States than to China, though not significantly less. More importantly, Brazil sells higher value-added products to the United States, while it exports commodities to China. So, the situation is likely to worsen much more than these people here expect from Brazil. Not to mention the issue of investment. Most investment in Brazil comes from the United States, not from China or other countries. As a result, Brazil may face very serious financing problems. It's highly unlikely that Lula will win this election. It will be a very tough battle because the country is deeply divided. Anyway, the situation they describe here is that it tends to deteriorate. Haddad said, he's unable to secure a meeting with the United States. And the problem is this. The whole issue that people summarize in this so-called impossible scenario, Trump's impossible demand to end the action against Bolsonaro. It's not impossible at all. It's very simple to resolve with Congress signing the amnesty. Done, resolved politically. Once the amnesty is signed, the problem ends. Evidently, people are saying it's impossible because Lula wants to clash with the United States, as they're claiming. If he wanted to resolve the problem, he would have done so already. Thank you for watching the video until the end. In addition to liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel, consider becoming a sponsor with amounts starting from $1.99. Click the Be a Member button below to learn about the conditions and benefits of sponsoring our channel. For more information about our project, visit the websites indicated on the screen.